I'm Dr. Hans and this is Dr. Hans Brewery, my channel about beer and home brewing. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Hope you enjoyed my childish intro for this Halloween special about the zombie dust, which was kindly sent to me from one of my viewers, Eric Boman. Thank you very, very much. I actually got 2 bottles from him and might get more because this will kick off a little mini series. I'm gonna talk more about that. Why is the zombie dust so popular? I actually wrote an article on my blog about it. We'll put a link down below, and whilst you're there, also sign up for my mailing list. You will get my free ebook. Nice, with some great recipes for you to try to brew at home. There are a couple of beers, like the Zombie Dust, the Supercharger, I think it's from Panam. Zombie Dust is from Floyds. We have some more of them, and Dropkick Nate is now the but that's a home brew. But anyway, there's some beers that are like raised to the skies or put on a pedestal, what you want to call it. And these beers are on like many home brewers brew bucket list, if you can call it that. I think it comes down to just a handful of people who has been like raising these beers through the roof. Or I don't know. If I hadn't been a home brewer, I don't think I would ever have heard of like the zombie dust here in Sweden. If you're living in Indiana, that's another part. But Eric Boman brought this from the States over here to Sweden and sent me. Nice. So we're going to talk more about everything. But yeah, we need to get this beer into a glass. As usual, links to like the opener and glass, and yeah, I can put a link to the kegerator stuff. I have a video of me making the kegerator also. Yeah, I will link to everything I can think of in the description. So you want to have a look at the label. It's a very dark label, so don't know how much you can pick up from it. The camera's hunting. Okay, so label out. I will put the label on the thumbnail also. So here we have the beer, and I think the color you see about, yeah, it's about right. It's a darker orange, really nice looking, hazy beer. 1 finger tight head and a good level of carbonation. Let's give it a nose. Yeah, it's hoppy, right? But it's not like screaming hops. Some sweetness. You have some like toast. Yeah, really nice. Fruity. Maybe some orangey, citrusy notes there. Okay, let's dive in. Guys, the zombie dust. Cheers. Have you ever had the zombie dust? Comment down below. If you ever brewed a clone, comment down below also. I'm going to talk more about cloning and my brewing, and yeah. Cheers. It's a nice beer. There's good level of bitterness and good level of carbonation. It's quite bitter. It's more like an IPA than a pale ale to me. I really enjoy it. It doesn't scream of hops. It has a bitterness kick to it, but it's not like a really hoppy homebrew or like a New England IPA, something like that. I would say more like old school. You get some caramel and a hop bite. I can't say that I really get that citra side note. I call it a side note. Many different hops have a specialty to them. So if you overdo it, it will get really strong. Citra has one of those. Actually, the first time I brewed with Citra, it was like a Zombie Dust clone inspired. I brewed a lesser ABV, but it was inspired by a Zombie Dust clone recipe I found. So it was the first time using Melanodium malt. And when I first tried that beer, I got I describe it like a chewiness. Some say like cattiness. I don't know exactly how to describe it. I got a new sensation. It was overpowering. It settled down very nicely after some time. And yeah, I blamed the Melanodium malt, but no, it was Citra, and I've learned that from now. The first time I brewed the Mosaic also have a very strong side note. I was sure something has gone wrong. Now I started to learn how the different hops taste, and when you're doing a lot of them. But yeah, Mosaic is not a favorite hop of mine. It has very strong of this side note. Citra also have. So if you want to balance your beers, some hops you can use more of without getting into the side note territories, getting strong to them. If you overdo like Simcoe, and you know I like to overdo like just everything, you're getting into like the Mosaic territory. We will come back to that in the future hops. But it is a very nice beer, but it's not magical, I'm afraid. And I think they are, he said it were kind of expensive. It's nice. If it comes to Sweden, I will buy it. But if it's gonna be like a superstar, it's gotta be more hoppy. The bitterness is, like I said, like an old IPA, like a classic IPA. So I think the bitterness are nice. Actually, when I have tasted one bottle because Eric sent me two, and when I tasted the first bottle, I started thinking of the Sculpin. So I messaged Eric and said, hey, this reminds me of the Sculpin, and yeah, he didn't see that at all. So I went and bought a Sculpin and tried it, and I was off. But what I think that was reminding me of the Sculpin was like you have a sharp bitterness and you have some caramel, and both of these beers have that. But yeah, no, they're not close to each other. It was quite some time since I had a Sculpin before. I think the reason that the Zombie Dust are so popular is that some few brewers just gotta hang up on the Zombie Dust or like the supercharger. For me, I follow the channel called Gift Fryer. I will link to his channel down below also, if I remember all this linking. And he was just obsessed with brewing Zombie Dust. So yeah, that caught my interest, and I know Beer and Barbecue by Larry. We're going to come back and talk more about Larry also, and of course I will drop a link to Larry, great channel. He also done some video about Zombie Dust, and yeah, everyone has to brew like the Zombie Dust. So of course I had to brew the Zombie Dust. I haven't actually brewed a Zombie Dust clone. I have brewed, like I said, inspired by, and I had some Zombie Dust clones from other home brewers, and I can't really say that they have been very close now when I have had the original. Some closer than others, some better, more like fresh hops. I think if this beer should be Rockstar, it should be more hoppy. And let's get into that. Hopefully Erik Boman will brew his Zombie Dust clone this weekend, and yeah, when it's ready, send me a bottle. And he ain't aiming to like hit the exact Zombie Dust now, because when he had it, so he will try to improve on it. So he will send me a bottle, and then we can do a review of his clone, check out his recipe. But back to Beer and Barbecue by Larry. Larry says that he's nailed his clone recipe. So I was thinking that I could brew Larry's recipe, and we could try that against the Zombie Dust. Because actually, Erik Boman, of course, you can change your mind. He offered to send me 2 more Zombie Dust. One for the comparison of his Zombie Dust clone, and one for the comparison of my Zombie Dust clone. It's so generous, Erik. What do you guys think about that? Is that an idea? I'll try to brew Larry's clone recipe, which he says has nailed it. And he had quite a lot of Zombie Dust. I think he said in his video he has some friends or family who picks them up once in a while for him. Comment down below, should I try to brew the Zombie Dust, compare it? So I think the closest idea for me is to use Larry's recipe, because yeah, I trust Larry. And of course, it's gonna be awesome to try Erik Boman's recipe. Nice. I thought the smoky part was over. Oh, God damn it. So guys, please comment down below. Have you ever had Zombie Dust? Do you have any more information that we could put into this series? Have you ever brewed a clone? How did it go? And what you want to see here in the channel regarding the Zombie Dust. If you're into beer and homebrewing and haven't already, consider becoming a subscriber. Please help out by liking this video and share it. Thank you so much for watching. I spilled Zombie Dust! Cheers. Dr. Hans out.